The splines have been reticulated.
There we go. As long as the splines are reticulated, we can go live.
That's right. Hey, there we go. We made it. Welcome to Talking Heads, everyone. Episode 445. Your once-week live show for the latest in beer and cocktails and tech news. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Tom.
Welcome to the show, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us on this Wednesday night or in podcast form over on Spotify or wherever your favorite podcasts are found. If you've never seen the show before, we talk beer, we talk tech, we talk all things Homelab, servers, enterprise, everything in between. Lots of fun. We've got Google going full AI mode with no more search bar, apparently. That's a thing. We've got a lot of cybersecurity news, one of which is a Zoom exploit, the other which is maybe don't commit crimes on a plane.
Tip of the hat to the Zoom exploit being called Zoomsday.
Zoomsday is such a great name.
Yeah. I'm happy with the name. It's a good exploit, too. I'm happy the name and the exploit are worthy of each other.
Yes. The other one is just dumbasses on a plane. And so, yeah, we've done that one before. I don't think anyone's been quite this dumb on a plane in a very long time, at least as far as I can remember.
I don't know. I kind of think about Chris Roberts. And for anyone that doesn't know who Chris Roberts is, he's the guy that said, I found a flaw in the plane. They didn't believe there was a flaw in the plane. So he said, I'm going to get on the plane and exploit the flaw, and I'm going to move a rudder.
Yeah.
Or an aileron while I was on the plane. And he did.
Yeah.
And he tweeted he was going to do it, and then he did it.
Yeah.
I've actually, Chris Roberts speaks every year at the GERCON.
Okay, yeah.
Local celebrity, interesting guy. We have a lot of mutual friends. I've had a good chat with him, but he's that guy.
Yeah, I had forgotten.
He
all
didn't
about
do
that.
it of the shenanigans. He's not the shenanigans guy. He's shenanigans, but in a very serious cybersecurity guy way.
Yeah.
Of like, I can't get your attention unless I do it way. As opposed to whatever these dumbasses were doing. That's a whole nother. Someone just wants to be on a no-fly list.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone's driving to Vegas next year.
Dumbasses on a Plane. Is that the sequel?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Had it with these dumbasses on this dumbass plane. Yeah, I think that's... I'd watch that movie.
Felonies on a Plane is a good title, too.
Felonies on a Plane? Yeah, that's... It's going to be a good show. Lots of fun stuff. If you've never seen the show before, obviously we do drink alcohol on this show. If you're drinking along with us, though, alcoholic or not, let us know in the chat, and we'll give a couple early shout-outs as we go along. And if you like the content you see on this channel, want to help support us from what we do, consider joining the Patreon. Link is down in the video description, patreon.com/craftcomputing. Help support the channel, help keep the lights on around here, and help keep content coming to you that you enjoy. Also, as a bonus, get exclusive access to my Discord server and join the awesome community that hangs out there throughout the week. Good to see you as always, Tom.
Yeah, good to be seen.
Today just kind of felt like a cocktail day, and so I'm not opening a beer for my first drink. I am having one of these.
That's what took you a little while. That looks fancy.
Yeah. When I put my mind to it, I'd make a good cocktail.
Look at that. We
So
got some mint on top, and
got the mint, got the lime wedge. This is a barrel-finished gin mojito.
and I do love a mojito. That is among my favorites. It's the perfect summer drink.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mojito is one of my go-tos during the summer. It's just so crisp, so refreshing. This one, so little life hack for those who want to get into mixology and whatnot. I hate vodka. Vodka is a neutral spirit, and the point of vodka is to make things alcoholic. It's not supposed to have a flavor, but I love the flavor of spirits. That's why I got into drinking and the whole craft of it and things like that. Little life hack, anything that has vodka in it, swap it out for gin, you'll make the drink 3 times better. Vodka cran? No, gin and cran. That's a great drink.
But which gin?
That's where we get into the expansiveness of this all, because gin is a much larger vehicle for flavor than vodka is.
The botanical gins.
Yeah, botanical gin, dry gin. I love a good super juniper forward gin. You crack the bottle and you can smell it in the room over. Like, that's the kind of gin that I like.
Do you like the Botanist?
I do like the Botanist.
The Botanist is the one I thought gin was a mediocre until I found the Botanist. I'm like, oh no, I've just had mediocre gin before I had the Botanist. Yeah. So
we have a couple really killer gins and distilleries around here. There's one that's just about 50 miles south of me or so, called Vivacity. And they make what they call the native gin. It's the Oregon native gin. And it is made from juniper trees that are here in the Cascades. So it's all locally sourced, all locally made and distilled. And it is just absolutely killer. I know you've been to Oregon like once or twice. Have you ever been out to like Eastern Oregon towards the high desert? Okay. Number one, we got to get you out here. Number two,
yes.
Eastern Oregon has a very particular smell because it is high desert but it's very, there's no other way to put it but spruce and juniper. Like, you just smell it because there's spruce and juniper trees as far as the eye can see. That bottle of gin smells like Eastern Oregon. Like, you crack it open and it's like, I'm there.
I do need to come out there. I was just thinking about that today. I need to get out of here because it's been nothing but hot. And I need to go somewhere where it's not hot. I haven't done a camping trip in a few weeks. So I'm getting withdrawals. Once this summer, we got hit a little bit of a heat wave here in Michigan, and the days it hasn't been hot, it's been raining like a lot. So it's been and the other time when it wasn't raining or wasn't hot, we got some Canadian smoke. And under any other circumstance, you'd be like, ooh, get some of that Canadian smoke. Not what you're thinking. We were completely covered and we had no visibility, and it was air quality was something in the 700 or 800 AQI. So it was. I knew a few people that went camping, and they packed up and left. They're like, we can't see.
I went camping just a couple of weekends ago. Just took the kids on a 3-night little jaunt. And it was great when we were over there, but the drive back is when the smoke rolled in on us.
You guys had some of the your own forest was on fire.
Our own backyard.
You didn't
was
import
on fire.
That Canadian stuff.
Homegrown botanical Oregon smoke.
Good old Oregon smoke.
That was the drive back. Is we're driving back into the valley, and it's just getting thicker and thicker. It's like, oh boy, we're in for a week. Okay. But yeah, no, we got to get you out here. Number one, let's go beer tasting. Let's hit some distilleries. Jeff and Tom road trip. Let's freaking do that.
I'm all for it. Something that came to mind because we talked about it last time towards the end is we talked about electric bikes and you having one, and I believe you sent me a picture or something about where you were on a bike recently. Yeah. Anyways, I went and got an electric bike, and now I'm really sold on it. So new toy. Like I rode my friends and I went about 30, 40 miles and said, okay, I get it. Cause this is pedal assist, it's not the one you just hold the lever. And I'm like, I'm actually exercising. So I bought one, and now I've put another 70, 80 miles on it already. Like I'm shocked at how much I rode this thing. And, it's been nice. No one offered me to review one. So I actually bought one. This is not sponsored. This is not, I'm not Jeff.
Occasionally, I still get offers to review one come through, and every once in a while, it's like, oh, that's kind of a nice bike. I might take a look.
Once you've done one bike.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Couple of super chats as we start off. First off, we got Abdul sending in a 65-month channel membership chat. So thank you so much. He's got the astounded face. I don't know if that was in response to the felonies on a plane or when I flashed the cocktail, but either way, thank you so much. We've got American Cosworth sends over $5. Thank you very much, sir. That one time my Army counter IED team was searched for explosive residue at an airport, dumb pre-checks to a plane.
Yeah.
And then Cosworth another $5. Thank you again, sir. The PNW, all of our things are farm to table and locally sourced. Jeff, I locally source all my unlisted Xeon prototypes from local sources. Funny story. I've mentioned that I've gotten some, I live in the shadows of the Intel campus here, and so I found some cool things on Craigslist every once in a while. Probably my favorite one that I've ever found, I still have this board, was 2007, I want to say, maybe early 2008. I found this guy who was selling this massive Chenbro workstation chassis from about 2002. So think the old like Gateway 2000 like mega towers. It was one of those.
Okay.
Like Chenbro did the OEM work for Gateway. So if you've ever seen like the triple depth 2.5 feet tall, Gateway 2000 tower, that's what that was.
I remember those.
Inside of there, he goes, I have a dual Xeon workstation. And I was like, well, I'm kind of intrigued. And he only wanted $200 for it. And I went, this sounds interesting. And so I went, you know what? $200, I'll throw $200 at that. Let me just meet you. No questions, just here's $200. So I met him up in Portland. Gave him the $200, threw the chassis in the back of my car, which immediately made the suspension sink about 1.5 inches, and then took it home. That motherboard turned out to be an Intel engineering sample, or an engineering process board, and it was a dual socket board. It was dual socket 604, so 2003 type era stuff. But for $200, even in 2008, that's a pretty decent deal, depending on what chips are inside. Well, in 2006, Intel was still shipping like single core and was starting to flirt with dual core. With like the Pentium D was announced, which was literally just two Pentium 4s glued together. These chips, as it turns out, were engineering samples based on the same process behind Prescott. It was the Xeon process known as Nocona. These chips were 4-core, 8-thread each. Ooh. So for $200 in 2008, I had an 8-core, 16-thread workstation. Back when the year that the Intel Core 2 Quad launched, the 4-core, 4-thread desktop CPU, I had 8 cores and 16 threads.
I realize I gotta book the hotel still for this. The Vintage Computer Festival's coming up here, the one close VCF Midwest, the Midwest one. But that era, that early 2000s into the later 2000s, was when I really was into hardware. Yeah. And I love that era. It's like, I do like the TRS-80, the Commodore 64. So the 80s era computers are cool. But there was just something fun, especially when AMD came out with the K-series chips and everything else. That's like just cool in my head for my own reasons, probably the nostalgia era of that. And so it's kind of cool finding those. I mean, I've watched, I'm sure remember, I know he's in our Discord. He just doesn't very post often at all. The guy who he did a whole video about, I think it was a dual tie-in motherboard and getting it all set up. Great video though, talking about sourcing the parts, trying to get them working and everything else. It's like, oh, I remember those. Yeah. They were like so sought after to get the dual socketed CPUs then, and they were just kind of cool. Yep.
No, tech moves so fast from about 98 to about 2008. The speed at which we were advancing was just absolutely breakneck. And it was the era that every company was competing directly against every other product that every other company was making. The only one that's probably excluded from that is NVIDIA didn't make CPUs and Intel didn't make GPUs. But NVIDIA also had to compete with companies like 3DFX and ATI. Intel was competing directly with AMD, and they were like stair-stepping each other literally every 3 months for years. I talked about this one time. one of my favorite Maximum PC articles was the race to 1 gigahertz, and they showed the progression literally sometimes every 6 weeks of another 100 megahertz dropping. And we went from 266 to 1 gigahertz on the same process node in, I think, 19 months. And so literally 4 times the speed in less than 2 years.
So I think this might explain something. It's been rattling around in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Like, tech feels less exciting today than it was, but I think it really is. And
Yeah.
there's this whole, not to go far off in a tangent, but an article that I read a number of years ago about people who had been to the moon. Obviously, it's a very short list of people, but there's one of those things like they did something so amazing that they actually had some depression for a while going, well, I've been to the moon. You know, so what do you got? What else you got for me?
Well, you're not going can't top again. That. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going there again. So, and we had our moonshot. We watched hardware go incredibly off the rails. The competition was wild. It was a lot of fun. How many more frames a second we can get? The overclocking for the first time when we started doing it. The debates around it. It was all new and exciting. And I look at some of the new tech, and I was annoyed. I was looking at different cameras, and immediately people point out that, yes, these cameras are only able to be used 5 times without forcing you to register on their cloud and activate a service. And then they use that service to send you messages to buy their new product. Even though you just bought their new product, it wants to advertise that you could use their cloud storage or any other subscription service they can possibly shove down your throat in the notifications. Yep. And it's like, I feel that's where tech has evolved. It's like, we'll give you something cool, but we're going to dangle in front of it like everything we can to monetize the fact that you bought our product. You entered our pipeline. You didn't buy a product.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's what's disappointing me about tech, with the exception of one tech we should really watch out for.
Yeah, it's
maybe a watch that you have.
I mean, what's funny about that particular watch, there's my Pebble watch, is the exact same thing that I said in that video is kind of a microcosm of what you just said, and that this watch is a time capsule to the era in which it was produced in 2016. Putting this on my wrist, it has not received a single new feature since 2016. And I think even if Pebble had existed in the entire decade between then and now, I think this is still the watch we would be looking at today. Like,
yeah, there's a joy in just someone building a product that people want to buy because they love it and just get to use it. Mm-hmm. It's a simple joy that I never realized was a simple joy until everything got terrible. I love this tweet I seen a few weeks ago. It says, yo, crazy business idea. What if we just took patents that were expired and just made products that just worked?
Yeah.
Just that simple. Like, we just make something that works. It doesn't bug you for a subscription. Jeff Geerling talking about his Bosch dishwasher. Like, it only runs certain cycles until you register it online. What?
Yeah. I mean, case in point, if you follow me on Blue Sky, you got a little bit of a sneak preview of this build today. I put this system together earlier today. This is a time capsule system. The motherboard on it is a brand new in-box EVGA X99 for the Win K from 2016. I took the shrink wrap off and cut the seal on that today. Nice. So 10-year-old motherboard, 12-year-old CPU, brand new cooler from the era. I've got a EVGA GTX 980 Ti classified card in here. So like the peak system that you could build in 2016, I just built it. It's cool, but it's not that exciting when I'm like thinking about it, because you know what I can do with this? I can install Windows 11 and a regular M.2 drive. This was one of the first boards with an M.2 slot. This board has USB-C on it from 2016. Really?
I guess it has been around that long.
This PC has every modern feature. It's a little slower, but it literally has every modern feature. And It can run modern software. In fact, if I swap out that 980 Ti for, say, a 3070, it'll play any modern game. Imagine in 2016, you taking your PC from 2006.
Oh, yeah.
No chance.
No chance.
Let's take your PC in 2006 and take a PC from 2001.
Okay,
absolutely no chance.
Yeah.
And
we've leveled off.
We have so much.
You know when we leveled off? 2018. Harambe. All comes back to that.
This really is the Divergent timeline.
It's the Divergent one right there. It's all Harambe.
Dick's out, yo.
Yep. What else we got? It's more proof. The evidence is mounting. That's when time stopped.
Yep.
Innovation. We hit the wall. Processors barely got faster between now and then.
I mean, they're a lot faster, but the problem is
they scaled outwards. We hit the physics limits.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of the last chips that Intel produced that doesn't hit 4 gigahertz out of the box. It's 3.5. But it doesn't turbo to 4 on its own. But that being said, it's still 8 core, 16 threads, 4 channels of DDR4 memory. This memory inside of this system is 2666. So if you double that, 5200? This is literally the same memory bandwidth as a dual channel DDR5 5200 setup.
And someone corrected me. Apparently, Harambe was 2016, which only reinforces it better.
I mean,
it's 2016.
That's when this is from.
It's a 2016 build, so completely it lines up better. I for some reason thought it was 2018.
Yeah. Why did Intel give up on the premium desktop platform, Ryzen? This CPU in 2016, when it launched, 8 core, 16 thread, was $1,000. In 2017, AMD launched Ryzen, most notably the Ryzen 1700X, for $330, which was 8 core, 16 thread, and within 5% of the speed of this chip. Ryzen cut the legs out from under Intel. That was their whole plan. They did not compete with consumer on day one, but they cut the legs out of high-end desktop immediately.
Can't believe Ryzen was all the way in 2016. You said 2016 was Ryzen?
March 2017 was the launch
2017.
of Ryzen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still 9 years ago.
Yeah.
I guess because I'm still rocking my I don't remember which ones there, 38 Ryzens. They're the Ryzens that run some of the servers I built in 2020, and they still are fine. Well, not even like early 2020, 2019 actually. Now I think about it, they're getting a little long in the tooth, but they're still really fast and run every workload I throw at them.
Oh yeah. First gen Ryzen had a little bit of stability issues with memory clocks, and there were a couple instructions that just threw it for a loop. That is like, I don't know what I'm doing with that. Zen Plus, when Zen Plus launched in 2019 or 2018, and that is AMD 2000 series, it basically took all of those concerns away. Memory got stable up to about DDR4 3000 megahertz. It was about 12-ish% faster, 12 to 15% faster single-threaded performance over original Ryzen. And while again, still not like beating down Intel's door, it started to compete. It closed the gap. And then when Zen 2 launched, which is 3000 series, and that was 2019, that's when they tied Intel and started surpassing them. But it only took literally one generation with one stopgap in between. And Intel had nothing left.
At least there's something. I see someone mention it here in the comments. Proxmox and ARM. That's coming along. Yeah.
I haven't experimented with it yet, but I'm tentatively pretty excited about it.
Yeah. I think Jeff, because he has one of those, is it Ampere? Is that the name of the company that makes, he's got one of those.
Yes.
And I guess it does work on that. So it's early days, but we're getting there.
Yeah.
And some people know I'm an XCP&G fan. XCP&G has been around in the ARM world for a minute. Yeah. So it's actually, if you dig into the XCP&G Foundation, go on my little tangent here, you'll find that they're used extensively in the automotive space and industrial space as well, for some of the compartmentalization that it has built into the kernel. So I believe that's why they have some of the ARM versions, because it's in, not exactly, but kind of like embedded systems. There's some specialized systems that it's been in. But the XCP&G specifically that I use is, so Zen Server has ARM, XCP&G does not at this time. That distribution hasn't moved. But it's exciting to see Proxmox move there, because opening up more virtualization options. I don't think sure, you could run a Raspberry Pi. I know it's not natively, I haven't looked into it. I know it's not like fully compatible with the Pi yet, but also I don't think the Pi is the targeted platform for ARM for that. I like a Pi 5 for running bare Linux with some Docker. Great use case. So you get the better overall usage of the CPU. Virtualization is just too heavy, I think, for a Raspberry Pi. There are some limitations. Adding full virtual stacks in there and slicing up an OS, I don't know if that's the best approach.
Yeah. Yeah, the Raspberry Pi, the Broadcom chip on there, it's a really good chip, but it's a really good budget, inexpensive chip. And what I mean by that is it's still running. We were talking about Hackers, the movie in the Discord earlier today, and RISC is going to change everything. RISC is good. The ARM processor inside the Raspberry Pi is a RISC. It's a reduced instruction set. It will not run every instruction. The ones that it doesn't have, it has to brute force its way through, which it absolutely just falls on its face with. It's a good chip. It's a good general purpose chip, but it's not a high performance piece of silicon.
Versus the Ampere server, on the other hand, that's much different animal.
Yeah. So anyway, let's see. Jay sends over a $2 super chat. Don't commit felonies on a plane. No promises. Jay. Let's start off with Google had their annual keynote on Monday. And they announced some new Pixel phones. I guess that's fine. Some new things that you can throw graphene on and potentially be arrested for, because apparently you're a domestic terrorist if you run graphene now.
Yes.
But that's besides the point. Google announced that they are going to be revamping the google.com homepage. Google is testing an AI-first homepage, and the search button is reportedly taking a back seat. So everyone remembers the original Google page, where Google search and then I'm feeling lucky, and so you can type in whatever you want, and then hit Google, and then hit search, and it brings you your normal search results. And then you can hit I'm feeling lucky, and it'll just take you to the top result page, which for the last decade has just been a sponsored page. It's literally take me to the first ad you want to deliver me, Google.
Right.
You also see over on the side they have AI mode. So if you only want to search AI mode now, you can do that, because apparently there's not enough ways to get to Gemini in any Google application. Well, apparently the new Google homepage is going to be doing away with those two bottom buttons, letting you literally just ask Gemini a question, and then God help you.
Yeah. I don't know what slop we're going to serve up, but you're about to take it. It's end of search as we know it.
Yep.
I mean, I laugh with what it gets wrong about me, but it's gotten some things, and Ben Jordan's covered this in a video talking about it, but that band that had their entire tour canceled because it mislabeled the guy as a child predator, completely conflated a bunch of stuff. You're just like, what? So people searching the band found out he was a child predator, which he was not. And of course, now he then sued Google and it turned into a big disaster, canceled a tour he had. Fans are still confused, just because Google associated with this, kind of tanked his career a bit. Yeah. It's turned into quite the news story. And it's just like, but did you read the most 2026 article that you could possibly write about Google and Flock? Did you hear about this? Did you cover it last week?
I didn't. I don't think so.
This is amazing. So there's so many jokes posted in memes that flock cameras are full of gold that Google started telling people flock cameras are full of quite a bit of gold, to which people only went further in finding cameras that weren't full of gold, and Google had to try to figure out how to correct it, to which it ended up back on Reddit that also reinforced once friend like, oh no, it absolutely is full of gold. This Ars Technica article is wrong about it. So it is the perfect article of 2026.
Yeah.
Told flock cameras anywhere.
I have seen this a couple of times pop up on Reddit. Yeah, 1 to 5 grams of gold and between 2 and 23 pounds of copper. That's incredible for a camera and solar panel array that weighs about 3 pounds between them. Really, you've got 23 pounds of copper in that 3-pound assembly. That's, yeah.
Look, the people who read that do not think as rationally as me and you, Jeff.
By the way, 1 to 5 grams of gold would be about $650 worth.
Yeah. Have at it, boys.
Yeah.
That is like the most perfect article for 2026. The slot machine went after the spy machine. That's how I read that. And I'm here shrugging my shoulders going, I don't care who wins as long as both of them lose.
Me, I just want to sit back and go, let them fight.
Let them fight. Let them fight. I got nothing on it. It made me smile. I do that in a group chat. That's what I had said. Look, the slot machine and the spy machine are fighting. 2026 is a hell of a ride.
Yeah, God. Building this little X99 rig. What's funny is I'm building it like error correct, but then I'm also going to take it as a test platform and go like, what is a GPU bottleneck? What does it take to stress the CPU out? And then once I stress the CPU out, can I replace the CPU with something else? And then what does it take to stress that CPU out? Like, how far can I take this platform into the future? I mean, I've been doing that for the last 9 years anyway. Might as well like start with a brand new motherboard and have some fun with it. But it really also got me reminiscing about, like you said, like tech in 2018 was still fairly exciting, and
yeah,
the world wasn't on fire, and
it wasn't full of enslopification and enshittification. Like everywhere you look, they're like, "Did you know you need AI?" No, I don't. No, I don't need AI. I don't need AI at all. I don't think I need. I did use AI in the video that I made today.
Canceled.
Oh no, I used it in the proper way. So I did a review of MikroTik because that's a controversial topic apparently. And what I was pointing out to people was that MikroTik requires many commands to be typed to make the router OS, set up a separate VLAN and a separate SSID and then build all the firewall rules.
Yes.
And it turns out Claude kind of can do that. So I walk people through the fact that Claude can kind of do that, which is, for those people who say MikroTik's difficult, I don't feel like learning it, if you trust the LLM enough, and if you're using it as a coach, not a make it go type of
yeah.
Is that what we're all turning into? The what's that? The race in Star Trek. It makes it go. Just
yes.
That episode is a little poignant. I'm gonna go watch it tonight.
Look, it's another Enterprise.
Another Enterprise. You make it go.
It makes
Riker
our engines go.
Anyways, if you want AI to make a MikroTik go, it actually does. It'll write out the script that you can copy and paste into the command line and set it up. Make it go. And so now it can justify the fact that the MikroTik, which by the way is an amazing price at only $99 for a router. Their routers are, the price to performance ratio is good, but the learning curve, as long as you don't think your time's worth anything, MikroTik's a good choice. And I made that video, but I did bring up my use of AI in the video for that as a task. Like, not that I slopified my videos in some ways or used it to write a script, but pointed out the script I wrote was the script I pasted into the MikroTik to make it work properly.
Yeah.
The Packalids. That's what it was.
Packalids, yeah,
That's what
thank
we're
you.
becoming.
Yeah. God.
That's too on the nose, isn't it?
I have this image of my head right now of every AI bro just being a Packlid.
Yes. Yes. The AI bros are the Packalids, man. AI make it go. Oh, Mark Zuckerberg wrote an essay about AI make it go. And I don't think Mark Zuckerberg knows how humans operate. So apparently it plans out life with his kids and things like that.
No, that wasn't Zuckerberg. That was
Oh, yeah, another guy said that too. That was Sam Altman.
yeah.
Zuckerberg didn't like Sam Altman being in the news saying you should have AI turn your kids' thoughts into a podcast.
Into a
so you can
podcast
listen.
every morning. Yeah.
Yeah, like okay, that's dystopian enough for me. But no, Zuckerberg just released his like 6,500 word essay of how we're all going to have AI that does our hobbies. I'm like, I don't think Zuckerberg knows how hobbies work. So, or
does he know
doesn't
what
have a
hobbies
thought in his-
are?
He doesn't have a thought in his head to even like understand how other human beings operate. We're all just NPCs in his little world, which is of course what led to his yacht ignoring a distress call and him getting in the news for that if he didn't see. Apparently the $300 million yacht couldn't help the other folks. They're NPCs. He doesn't have to help them.
Yeah,
That
no,
wasn't part of his
the
mission.
really funny thing is they're like, we called for help and this yacht like stopped and then kept going and didn't help us. And the proper response, if Zuck was trying to get out of this, was, well, their engines had failed, but there was another boat already on the way, and so we didn't intervene. No, what they said is, well, we didn't hear the call. If you're a vessel, you're required to monitor channel 16.
Yeah.
So saying we didn't hear the call elevates you up to illegally operating your craft.
Yeah. Well, in anyways, Zuckerberg, the guy who monitors all of us from appetite to asshole, didn't notice something? If there's information, he's sucking it up. That vessel's like a magnet for information, so I'm positive they heard it.
Yes. Hey, I see
Look,
you're
when I read that-
stranded. Can I help you with that?
Yes, can I help you with that? Can I monetize that? Can I show you an ad? Look, when I learned that he cheats at Settlers of Catan, I mean, he just sinks lower every time you read something about him. Just
God.
there's no end to the depths.
Yeah. Ugh.
All we can do is laugh about it at least.
John J with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much, John. Hot take, high-powered AI specifically for code gen is first time I've been excited about AI, about PC mobile tech in many years. Things possibly for mere mortals to create quickly today that would have taken years to build before. Yeah, I kind of covered that a little bit with my review of the Ryzen AI Halo, and I've done a couple like local LLM videos, although, like I said, I'm trying to get a little bit more into it because I really do think it could help with some of my processes that I do here, specifically around like Homelab configurations, like, you know, Tom, you were saying about, you know, configuring a MikroTik switch. One of the complaints is, MikroTik is very difficult to learn. They use their own language, they use their own scripting, they do all this other stuff. You know what AI does really well? Read and understand a manual to be able to spit out commands with the context that you give it. And there are aspects like that I could be utilizing AI for. I haven't been so far because I also feel like getting good results out of AI is a learning curve in and of itself, and I haven't put enough time in yet to be able to fully utilize and actually start multiplying my input. But
Definitely part of the challenge.
But I think there is something there. Now, like I said before, I'm not going to have AI write videos for me. I think that's freaking stupid. I'm certainly not going to have Gemini or YouTube's AI highlight a comment, go down to the little 3 dots and say, brainstorm an idea from this comment. Because no offense to all of you. You're all wonderful people. But everyone else who comments on my videos, boy...
It should say, can we turn this brain rot comment into a video?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
There's no sign of life in this.
We can't extinguish the porn bots off the problem, but we could definitely have you brainstorm an idea off one of their comments. That's where we're putting our resources right now.
I've actually seen, and I always call them the butt commenters because they always have bikini butts. And
yeah, it's the peach or
yeah. There's a lot of those on there, but they've really slowed down. They're not as bad as they were.
Yeah.
And so YouTube has somehow fixed it. I mean, if there's connecting the pieces in my brain, AI is good identifying things. It will tell you what something is. It's like, look, if their profile picture is a thong bikini, double check that that's not a bot.
The thing is,
because they're all the same.
The thing is, if you click on that profile picture, it's actually like two pieces of bread to get.
That's true too.
Like no, that they're making the thumbnail look like what they want, but then when you blow it up, it's like, oh no, it's a cat's face. Of course, yeah.
Seems like AI would be good at identifying AI. Like, know thyself. Maybe.
Yeah.
I follow a channel, and I'll throw this on people's radar if they're not into it or haven't thought about this much. But I love language, the etymology of words and things like that. Language Jones, interesting fella, has done a lot of language videos. But the one he did recently that matters to people who aren't into following language is his one on how to spot AI. Absolutely the best I've seen. I've seen people talk about this. I've seen people claim all these mysteries. Boy, does his video really do a good job and enjoyable if you're technical as well, talking about identifying AI as a language. But also why so many of these tools that are supposed to auto-identify it get it wrong, and looking at us autistic people. So one of the things that AI, it's all a lot of us do its use of the longest part. I know the longest part is of that video in the section is the use of metaphors, but it's also the tendency to mix metaphors, but with the exception of a small percentage of people who think it's funny to play on words with metaphors, who can get flagged as AI because we find it amusing because of the way we use language. So, but he covers that too. He talks about the divergent thinkers essentially is on that. But it's a fascinating video to think about how the language works, why the LLMs, and he gets some. I mean, for a guy he's got a doctorate in I forget exactly what it is, but within understanding languages. I can't remember that title, that doctorate was, but is a fascinating guy. But he goes technically deep into why and statistics and all the technical knowledge it takes to build the LLMs and understanding why they generate language the way they do. And he pulled from, is it 3Blue? Is that the channel that has a lot of the deep engineering? He pulls from another engineering video.
Yes.
Yeah. Someone will throw it in here real quick. It's something like 3Blue 1 Red or something like that. But great video nonetheless. If anyone's interested in understanding it better, I was like, I should watch this twice because I found it really interesting.
What's funny is I read not that post, but I did read a similar thing earlier about identifying AI and the way people write. And they said one of the simplest things.
3Blue 1 Brown. I see the comments.
Okay. One of the simplest things as a marker is how divergent of a topic does the writer go into. And not like, oh, does he like, oh, this reminds me of a story from back 20 years ago, like Tom and I have been talking about all night. But when it makes a metaphor or a simile or anything like that to explain a point, how far off base is that particular metaphor? Because AI is currently thinking about the subject at hand and the subject at hand alone. And when it's trying to put its language pieces together, it goes, okay, we're talking about apples right now. So if I'm going to make a reference to something, it's got to be Apple related. Versus me, I can go, oh, Apple computers, 1970s. This reminds me of some the Ford Pinto. That's a really easy leap for a human to make. That is not an easy leap for an AI to make. And so when you're seeing like these colorful, references and whatnot that are in writing, those are innately human.
Yeah, it's been fun. In some ways, as much as AI has been annoying, it's also brought out a lot more deeper thought into why humans do what we do, how machines can look. There's that part of it has become a fascination for me. That's why when I brought the language Jones things, because it's like, all right, this is just kind of fascinating to me, because now it's causing us to be a little bit introspective on what makes us different from the machines, but not in some Sam Altman way, like I feed what my kids say to AI. Like
it gives them a podcast on their way to school every morning.
Yeah, and turn it into a podcast. Have you tried just talking to child? Just throwing it out there. Like
hell, that guy drives his kids to school every morning.
Yeah, that's true too. Let's him using AI. What can I say that makes me sound human and relatable? I think that's what all of them do. How do I sound human and relatable to the people? I need more money. I need them to believe in me so they will give me more money. How do I sound relatable?
Zuckerberg trying to grill on a brand new $20 Walmart barbecue with briquettes going, look, I got the Sweet Baby Rays for the meats.
Yes. Every attempt they do to prove to us they're human just falls really, really short.
He might as well have just gone full out and overtipped a shopping cart and barbecued on that. That would have been more believable than him trying to go, oh yeah, no, I have this briquette barbecue that I use every day here on my $1 million, property.
Billion, not million. So
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah. Gotta add the zeros up, because he did buy that island in Hawaii.
Along with Jensen and his 19 spatulas in the kitchen. Hey, we need some set dressing. Can we make it look like someone actually lives in here and uses this kitchen and not just hires a private chef to use the 7th kitchen down the block? Thank you.
That's just funny.
Cosworth sends in over the $5. Thank you so much. Nick or Tick is amazing until your wife needs to diag by herself. Unifies increased support for ONVIF is real interesting. AI was dope for house painting. Yeah, I know Cos uploaded photos of his house to AI and then said, what would this look like in different colors? And so kind of like the try it on before you buy, like the digital dressing rooms that for clothes. Like, yeah, he did that with his house. Like, hey, what would this look like in blue or in red or in orange or like a two-tone green or thing? Yeah. So there are some practical applications.
I'm also catching up on the comments. I was trying to figure out who people were hating on. Apparently people don't like the 3 blue, 1 brown. So I'm always fascinated. Now, I'll full admit, I have not watched much of his content. I just know it pops up in my feed and it seems very popular. I've watched maybe a little bit of one of them, and I've seen people reference them all the time. So my assumption, it looks good, and it was a good reference, at least the extracted part that Language Jones. I'm much more a follower of the smaller channels most of the time, like Aging Wheels. Did you see the new K car?
I did. Yeah, he bought a Honda Beat. Yeah,
he bought a Honda Beat. So he's great.
Yes,
that's the YouTube I watch more of than some of the other stuff.
100%. Yeah.
Aging Wheels, man. He was an Android developer and decided he'd rather work on cars. And I'm here for it.
Yep.
I think I subscribed to him. I don't think he had 20,000 subscribers when I subscribed to him. He had just got started.
I think he might have been at 50 when I found him.
Yeah.
Very, very, very similar.
And then he did a guest appearance in a Brown video of Alex.
Yep.
Or Alec. So
yeah,
technology
connections. Yeah, they've done a
Yep.
couple of videos together. They've done an Ioniq 5 road trip, and
Yep.
he's also
The Chevy
helped-
road trip.
Yeah. The Chevy road trip. That was a more recent one, and then he also helped Alec with, was it the Cube, the Nissan Cube, or
So when he did the Brown video, it's because he drove up to get, I can't remember what car it has. It was a convertible that he fixed for him.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
how they met, or at least the first time that they had talked about having a connection.
Yeah. So, yeah, go subscribe to Aging Wheels. He's great. Let's see. Civic says the issue with identifying AI writing is it AI or is it autism?
AI or autism?
Look, like all things, it's a spectrum. Okay. I like to think I can bring references into my writing that I'm not so one-track focused. In fact, my problem is I have the AUDHD. I have both ADD and autism, and so my writing tends to be a little bit all over the place until I like focus it down. But in every video, you're still going to get some random reference or joke or very, very hidden subliminal joke that I just find great joy in.
Well, and there's such a joy in the tech community for all the puns and things like that, or whenever we can do these weird play on words. And that is something that occasionally is fun to poke at with AI, but I found it terrible at it. It doesn't seem to understand puns as well.
It does not. Yeah.
No.
Novella says, did you see the Roku free channel that shows AI content 24/7? Yes, I did see an article
That's
on
cringe.
that. Oh, yeah. No, have you not seen this?
I don't use Roku, so I was like unaware of it.
Yeah. Fairground AI. It is a new channel devoted to...
Cringe.
It is a 24/7 video stream that is 100% AI generated, including the advertisements within it. I have not watched it yet, although I do have a morbid curiosity about it. Yeah, here are some samples. Let me mute this so I don't get demonetized here. So yeah, Fairground AI, that is their logo.
We just have Slop TV now.
There we go. Okay. Cool.
Weird. Give me my Liquid TV from MTV. Are you old enough? You're a little younger to me, so
I remember
were
Liquid TV.
Okay, so you remember
Yeah.
Liquid TV.
Yeah.
We'll see how many more gray hairs there are on the in the chat here. If anyone remembers all the Liquid TV.
Oh God,
Like-
I'm one of you now.
One of us. Got the little gray going.
Look, it's been in my beard for a while. I've also had a couple of gray patches since I was like 12.
Yeah.
But it all happened so fast.
But yeah, the Liquid TV, like I love the weird and unhinged things of that era.
Yeah.
And they were just, it was kind of cool. It was interesting. It was the first time I experienced some of that stuff. And it was weird because it was like this dividing thing between friends, like, that's dumb, is some of my friends. And there's a couple of them like, that's cool. And the ones that said that's cool, I realized were a lot more like me. Like, oh, you're one of those too. We didn't have names for how weird we were then.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really funny seeing the evolution of nerd culture in pop culture
Yeah.
grow from fringe weird kid to acknowledgement to acceptance and full embracement, like over the course of my life. Like I'm of the age that if you played D&D when you were in school, you were still getting beat up. You know, if you played
Star Trek nerds were not popular in our high school years.
no. Me and my two friends would talk about the latest episodes of Star Trek, and then I also had one Star Wars friend, and there was not much to talk about Star Wars in 1996, and so we would simply quote the episodes together, including the Ewok movies, because you get your fix where you can, man. But it was not cool. It was not hip. It certainly wasn't popular.
Well, we tolerated season 1 of Next Generation because there wasn't any other sci-fi.
Yeah.
But it's like, look, it tickled our imaginations, and that made it worth it.
Yeah.
That's where it was exciting. That is, yeah. The entire thought process couldn't happen anymore like the way the original series started when you think about it, because think about the original series, it goes a few seasons off the air, but the cult following doesn't stop to the point where a franchise gets birthed out of it in the 90s or 80s,
Right.
Later in the 80s. Like that is just like they held on for years. The fascination I have with it, I watched a whole documentary on it because it was just really wild to think about. Now, something mentioned, I can not remember the name of the documentary, but it was kind of the history of all the Trekkies. Watched it a long time ago. The part that didn't resonate until much later was no one really understood the ads and what impact they had. It turns out the ads had higher conversions rates for the ads they ran during the original Star Trek TV series because they found it was watched by so many engineers, which equated to wealthier households.
More affluent,
so they were more
yeah.
likely to buy some of it. It turned into this really kind of side tangent they had that I was like, that's actually interesting, but makes sense because who would watch this weird sci-fi space series and things like that? So there's like so much cool history and how it shaped. I think like Star Trek is the thing that shaped it. You don't get Star Wars or any other thing without some of the groundwork that was laid
100%
for that.
Yeah.
Not to mention the pushing the envelope of TV between interspecies kisses or the season 2 with the 2 belly buttons. That story was great. They couldn't show a belly button on TV, but when they won the ability to do it, they showed 2. That's why the girl had 2 belly buttons in that series, the belly dancer. That was why they did it. He was just like, they said we couldn't do it, so we need to have 2 of them now.
Yeah. If anyone wants to know the impact that Star Trek had on not only like popular culture and whatnot, but science in general, the very first space shuttle prototype was named Enterprise, and they invited the Star Trek crew down. I remember this exact article and picture in Popular Science. And I was a huge space nerd when I was a kid. And
a lot of us were because of Star Trek.
Yeah, 100%. But what's funny is I'm like, oh, Tom's talking about Star Trek and like, you know, engineers watch it and whatnot. And I'm like, I know this. I have this picture in my head of Gene Roddenberry and the original cast of Star Trek standing in front of the Space Shuttle Enterprise because they were invited down to Cape Canaveral to check it out. I wrote a whole report about the introduction of the Space Shuttle. And I'm like, I wonder if I can find that. Googled it. Boom. First result. It's this exact picture. Yeah.
I ever told you my weird Star Trek trivia about me?
No, go for it.
I used to host Gene Roddenberry's son.
Yeah.
I used to host his mail servers.
That's great.
Yeah. Well, I did it by proxy because my friend J Bone, and I've tried to reach out to him. He's a ghost on the internet. I lost track of him around 2020. He just kind of vanished, which I know he's still alive because I found some housing records from one of his old houses and he sold it. Anyways, big Star Trek nerd to the point where he knew Rod Roddenberry and he was hosting the mail servers, but he needed somewhere else to host them and he needed to move them. And I had server space at the time at my building. So he moved the Star Trek servers to my house or my my office, and we hosted them for a little while.
Nice. So,
yeah, And then we ended up hosting a bunch of some caching servers, a couple random things. I never got to meet him, but I got to talk to him on the phone as a group. We had a call or something. We were talking about some tech things and just got to be on the call. And it was just neat. It was like, it was just really cool. My weird little side trivia thing. Cause I remember and I think it's still his website, Jason, or J-Bone as we all called him. His website is ioncannon.com. I think it's still up, but that was like a domain he registered in the 90s or something like that. And he was always it was Elcar's interface from day one. That was how he designed it. Like,
I mean, I can go back to our original Talking Heads background. Like, I can make that happen.
Yeah.
uh,
I see someone say Strange New Worlds is fantastic. I second that. So,
yes. Well, Strange New Worlds, the series.
Yeah, I love it.
It is so good. I haven't started season 4 yet. I did watch all of season 3. I haven't gotten onto season 4 yet. I did unsubscribe from Paramount for what should be some patently obvious reasons. I will don a particular hat once the season is ended.
Arr.
Yeah. But no, I have loved the absolute crap out of Strange New Worlds.
I think that's the one that follows Roddenberry's story arcs style. It's true to Star Trek.
Yeah.
I thought TNG was good. I love the different but episodic nature of DS9, but I really enjoy that I can grab an episode and not have to know all of it to be able to say, like, I can just watch this episode and enjoy it. And that is how I feel about Strange New Worlds. And maybe that's what I should do is go pick a random. How many seasons are out?
It's the 4th season just started airing.
Yeah, the 4th season is one that dropped. But I could grab like any random one from season 1 or season 2 and be like, yeah, that would be just an episode. I'll just watch it and just be happy with it.
Yeah. So... yeah, no, and that's why I keep going back and watching Star Trek. Is it's episodic, and so you can just turn on a random episode and enjoy it. And there is something of a lost art about that style of television, and the reason for that style of television was your episodes aired once per week in a 25 episode season. And if you weren't home or had a VCR that you could actually program, at 7 o'clock on a Thursday night, you weren't watching Star Trek that week. And so they couldn't make it a developing series where, anything massive happened. And part of me misses that. Did you watch
the Deep Space Nine, What We Left Behind, the documentary?
Oh, of course.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about it, it was such a convergence of the VCR and everything. And I went to that. Me and some Star Trek friends got together and we nerded out. We went to the showing at the theater and everything for that, like a premiere of that. It was really good. I rewatched it recently. I think last year I rewatched it again. And it's just, I don't know. It's all part of the culture and it's great.
Yeah.
Discovery, definitely I'm not a fan of. Like the first season Discovery, I think was okay. And then it went downhill. Well, like when they bumped them into the future, they gave them the everything. And then they quit writing story, and they could sometimes use technology to do anything they wanted, morph matter into some random thing, or they would completely ignore they had technology and do something the dumb way. But it also didn't make any sense because it was convoluted, as someone said, between shows.
And the idea that sequel still exists and is being actively exploited in the 2900s makes me want to just not continue living.
Yeah,
that is not the hopeful future that Star Trek should be delivering. Like I said about the episodic nature, I think the thing that Discovery did wrong more than anything else was not necessarily its storytelling, was not necessarily its individual episodes, because I think Discovery in general is a pretty good show. It's just a really bad Star Trek.
Yeah, it's not following the rules of Star Trek. And the rules of Star Trek are you start with wrestling this complicated moral topic. Technology's a sidebar to the morality of the topic, the thoughts that go into it, and that's what makes it engaging and intriguing. It may have some science or sci-fi or futuristic elements in there, but that's not the driving nature of it. You know, Data's a robot, but is he alive? You know, there's a good one to rewatch. Yeah. And thinking about that.
Yeah, Measure of a Man.
Measure of a Man, exactly. One of the best episodes they did. It was two-parter, right? Was it one-parter or
No,
two-parter?
it's a one-parter.
Okay, one-parter. Yeah. Just a good
42 minutes, one of the best courtroom scenes in TV history.
Yeah, all in 42 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's sure the premise is sci-fi. Data is not, he's synthetic. He's not organic. So yes, there's sci-fi, but that's not the point of it at all.
Right.
So
yeah, I love Star Trek for tackling issues like that. And it's really funny because like Star Trek has this history of like subverting the culture of the time and bringing morality and culture issues to the forefront of discussion. You know, the famous one is Uhura and Kirk had the first interracial kiss on TV. The way they got away with that was they said, well, it's not actually Uhura and Kirk, that they're actually like being controlled by this parasite in their brain, and so it's not actually them controlling. Oh, well then it's just fine. It's just a sci-fi thing. And then it's like, but we can still talk about that. It was the same thing with the DS9 episode. What is it called? Rejoined. It's the one where Jadzia, a joined Trill with the symbiont inside of her, ends up meeting her ex-wife. Which was actually Jadzia Dax's ex-wife when Jadzia was a man with a previous host. And so the fact that they're two women is not even the issue. It's, Trill society looks down on people re-engaging in past relationships because the whole idea of these expanded things. Look, this was a trans allegory and an LGBTQ like pride moment from the get-go. But the reason they got away with talking about it was because the sci-fi was the thing that held it together.
Yeah.
And that's what Star Trek is supposed to be. It's supposed to bring these super complex and nuanced issues and just lay it out plainly and go like, look, can we just treat people like people?
Yeah. It just makes
it fun. Is that so hard?
I think it's why there's such a joy in it of all the things related to it. Of course, this is, we can wander into Douglas Adams and the way he wrote things and the way he poked fun at bureaucracy. But the thing I would ask you is, what is the most Star Trek series that wasn't Star Trek?
Ooh, Star Trek series. Because the movie was definitely, Galaxy Quest. That is the most Star Trek thing that's ever been made, including the Star Trek movies. Galaxy Quest is my number one Star Trek movie. The most Star Trek series that wasn't Star Trek.
Yeah. I'm assuming you watched the Orville.
Okay, yeah. I was going more. Is he talking
you went
Stargate?
older, and Orville's the answer.
Yeah, is he going Stargate? Like, I was trying to get too complicated with it.
The stories and everything else. I mean, it's still the same sci-fi. It's, I like the way they
Babylon 5. What were you going?
5. Yeah, which one was I going for? Orville. Yeah, I see people saying Orville.
Yeah. Sure, it's obvious now, guys. Okay,
it's obvious. Everything's obvious in retrospect. Actually, I don't know if anyone reads a lot of books. I actually didn't read a lot of fiction until I was older. But among the fictions I've read is Dungeon Crawler Carl. Amazing book. And I heard they were turning a movie, which when I just heard the announcement, immediate level of disappointment. Like, this is going to be stupid to make a movie or a series out of it. Yeah. Anything made for TV is not going to be good. Until I learned Seth MacFarlane's producing it, I'm like, oh no, there's now an exception.
Yeah,
I'm on board. Because if there's someone who can bring this to life, and if anyone's read the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, it is immensely popular because it's so good. The fact that they're bringing it with Seth MacFarlane has me pretty excited.
Yeah.
I am excited for Spaceballs, so I'll go that. I hope it's good.
I have opinions on that one, and
that it will not be as good.
I don't think it's going to be very good. And that pains me on such a deep level to say. And the issue is this. It's that, look, I freaking love Mel Brooks. I love Mel Brooks. I love his comedy. I love his attitude. I love his politics. I love everything about Mel Brooks. He's 100.
Does he get it still?
No, I think he still gets it. I think he absolutely still gets it.
But does that movie land in 2020? Well, is it this year or next year? Maybe?
Next year.
Next year. Does it land in 2027?
I think it lands. I love that Rick Moranis is coming back. I love that, all the, most of the cast is coming back. There's a couple you obviously can't bring back. But they did a History of the World Part 2 a couple of years ago. That was written by Nick Kroll. And no offense to Nick Kroll. Look, I love stand-up comedy. I love improv comedy. I love sketch comedy, all that kind of stuff. I'm just not a Nick Kroll fan. And Nick Kroll's comedy is so inherently and fundamentally different than Mel Brooks's comedy. That the jokes didn't land in History of the World Part 2. Nick Kroll is an executive producer for Spaceballs, the second one. And I'm going, who wrote it? Who's producing it? Who's in charge? Look, Nick Kroll's probably a wonderful human being. His comedy is not the same. And it's not going to land. And I would love to be proven wrong. But we already have Exhibit A. And Exhibit A was not good. So I'm not holding out hope. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to go to the theaters. I'm going to watch it. But
I mean,
I'm starting with 10% of excitement.
Tim Russ.
Tim Russ is back. Yeah. John Candy's son is going to be in this, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like there's some people coming back that is going to be pretty exciting. Rick Moranis is coming back, for God's sakes. Like, I am so excited to see him, put on the big helmet again.
Yes.
But I have such low expectations for where the bar is going to be at.
So, my favorite Rick Moranis story that isn't a Rick Moranis story at all. But my brother-in-law, if you were to see a photo of the man, you would say, that's Rick Moranis. Like, they look shockingly alike. He installs alarm systems. And like high-end commercial ones. And he's certified to do the ones in prisons. And this is what gets funny. When a guy who looks like Mick Moranis, like big time looks like Rick Moranis, and he's up on a ladder, and you got to go through a lot of precautions to get in these areas. It's like a medium security prison he's working at here in Michigan when he was installing it. He's not supposed to interact with the prisoners at all. But he enjoyed the conversation he got to overhear. There was all this talk. I guess he started with the conversation. I guess that's what you do now. I mean, once you've been into movies, what do you do after? And they're just like assuming Rick Moranis is installing the alarm.
He's just installing alarms.
So he just like rolled with it. He's like, man, there's like, and then more of them pointed out. One of them asked me for something. I said, I really can't talk to you guys. I didn't want to correct him. I kind of enjoyed the thought, my Rick Moranis.
Well, yeah, after Honey, I Shrunk the Kids too, I gave up acting. It was.
Yeah, he says they're just all having a conversation. Oh, that's crazy. Rick Moranis is on alarm in our prison over here. He's fixing that siren up there in the ladder. It was his crowning moment of being identified as Rick Moranis. There's been jokes thrown around about it, but the prison one was great. He just I wanted to have a conversation with those guys, but I don't know. I didn't want to tell him I wasn't Rick Moranis either. Yeah. And if he talks, you can tell he talks kind of funny. He does not Rick Moranis when he talks. But boy, does he look like him.
Yeah. All right, couple super chats, and then we've got some hacker news to get to. Oh, yeah. Jay sends over $5. Thank you very much again, Jay. DS9 also broke the rules of Star Trek. At the time, people screamed about how it was a soap opera with too much continuity. What's really funny is DS9 is still almost 100% episodic. It's just it happens to have a couple of overarching storylines that do continue on. Does that overarching storyline change from episode to episode? Not much. There's season 4, 5, and 6 of DS9, I stand by this, are some of the greatest television seasons in history. The way they aired, the story that they told, but they're 25 episode seasons. Yeah. 6 of those episodes were the Jem'Hadar War. And then you still had time in between to torture O'Brien and give Bashir weird, genetically engineered powers. And Cisco went back to Louisiana to cook crawfish with his dad. Like, yeah, there were 6 episodes that you had to pay attention to. There were 19 episodes that had all to do with the story. For each season.
I don't remember the actors' names, but I love that they did a video together to show that they were 2 different people. The guy from Battlestar Galactica and the guy who plays Bashir. I can't remember.
Alexander Siddig and God, who was the guy on I do remember seeing that.
I love the video they did together, because even together, you're like, you guys still could pass.
I don't know.
I'm not convinced that you're not the same people.
I mean, it's the only time we've seen them in the same room together. And I've seen that trick with Data a million times with all the different Soong relatives. So,
yeah,
I do like the idea of Brent Spiner. Like, they want to bring Brent Spiner back into as many Star Treks as possible. And he's like, y'all got any more of them Soong relatives? Codsworth sends over another $5. Thank you. Helldivers the movie. Hopefully people will understand the sarcasm now that many finally do the original Starship Troopers, which is 29 years old. Yeah. Media literacy. Oh man, I could spend an hour on media literacy. God, what was the comment I saw the other day? AI companies and big tech right now are so hellbent on creating, or are so hellbent on naming their things after science fiction. It was, hey, remember that movie or that book, Don't Create the World Ender? Today we're introducing the World Ender.
World Ender. Yes. Yes. It's just, yeah, make a podcast about whatever your kids said. Go for it, Mr. Altman. Clammy Sammy. Just.
All right. Couple of hacker-related news to get to. One of them really smart, the other really freaking stupid. We'll start with the smart one, because not only is it smart, it has a badass name. Zoomsday.
Love it. Love it.
Chef's kiss, no notes. A critical vulnerability has been discovered with the help of Likely Mythos, the AI tool that we've talked about from Anthropic, which is exceedingly good at finding closed source exploits and 0 days. Zoomsday is an exploit that was discovered within Zoom. We're on a Zoom call right now. Great.
Essentially, if you could use the drawn screen feature, there was a way with no click, like nothing on you. You only had to be in the meeting.
Yeah.
And they found a way to use that feature, basically part of the presentation feature, to take over other people's and get them to execute at whatever permission level your Zoom had.
Yep.
So the permissions that you're running at, it can then execute commands on your computer silently. You would not know this is happening. That's impressive. And it's because they use a proprietary protocol to be able to do like the draw on top screen sharing. And that's actually interesting because they use a frontier model and didn't use a lot of prompts, just came up with some ideas. And this is where AI is really good at finding unique vulnerabilities, because it just can try so many code paths at once. So the details of exactly how it was found, I didn't see, or I didn't read. But yeah, it's really interesting, the fact that it worked, and it did not take an absolute fortune in tokens to work either.
Right. They're assuming this is a nation state level vulnerability. Like, someone figured this out and has been using it. That is one of the things that is in here, is they have found cases of this being actively exploited.
Yeah.
So it is a 0-day. It is a thing that does exist currently and is not patched yet.
It is. No, it is patched.
It is. Okay, it is patched.
Yeah, they do have a patch for it now that they've identified
Okay.
it. But yeah, there's a chance it was used in the past. The problem is it's silent, so we don't know.
Yeah.
And those are the hardest things to find, is when they were used, because this is part of the challenge when someone gets hacked, and we have to reverse engineer how did they get hacked. We don't know the source. We know the results. There's this thing on this computer. We don't know how it got here, and not everyone has the best logs to pull through it, so it's really challenging.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fascinating. So it's on platforms before 7.15 and 7.06.
Okay.
So it's as I said, I did read that there was an update to this.
Okay, gotcha.
'Cause, yeah, but still, absolutely, the fact that it's silent, the fact that you wouldn't know that it happened, is the interesting part.
Yeah. 0 click, zero
Interaction.
Not like, hey, go click this link, because that's way too easy. But I mean, look, Zoom is still widely used. Zoom is the verb for web meetings, and has been since 2020.
Zoom through a browser is not affected.
Okay.
That was something I found interesting, because I generally will use Zoom through a browser. I don't for you, because I use it, but a lot of times I use it through a browser. Just like Teams, I use it through a browser. That way it's, to my opinion, better sandboxed. I've had people argue with me about it, and I also sent those people this link. I'm that guy.
Yeah.
I'm that guy. I'm just saying. I might have been that guy.
Sandbox, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't need a sandbox Zoom. Okay. I belong to a few cybersecurity signal groups. Actually, that's why I was looking on my watch for notifications, and I just muted it because I don't know what they're talking about. It looks dumb. But
Yeah.
I'll go in there and read it later. But we definitely are all riling each other up in the cybersecurity groups at any given moment for all of this stuff. They're fun to be in.
Yeah.
We had some. My friend taught a course at university, and a couple of students really wanted what it's like to be in cybersecurity, and we put them in the group chat with us.
Just put them in the Signal.
We did. We threw them in the Signal
Yes.
group, and it is like they're first overwhelmed. They're like, "There's just a lot of memes and a lot of really bad humor in here." We're like, "Yes, you guys just really dog on a lot of companies. We do that too."
That's what it's like.
This is what cybersecurity is. They said this is what we make it into pretty quickly.
This is Thursday or Tuesday through Friday. Yes.
Yeah. This is the kind of shenanigans you can expect if you can get a career in cybersecurity. This is where we vent, because we have to be professional on our day jobs, but then we have this group chat.
Yeah. A hacking news story that was less smart and sophisticated. If you're going to commit crimes, this is not legal advice, although even with my lack of qualifications, I could probably call this legal advice.
Don't do them on a plane.
Don't do crimes on a plane that are technically skilled crimes on your way back from a hacking convention that delivers you to a port of entry in which federal authorities have all rights to do whatever they want. Do not do crimes in a sealed metal tube, okay? Like, I don't...
Yeah. If you're in a tube that's landing somewhere and you're committing the crimes on a tube and they know where it's going to land, they know where you will be.
Right. Out of the 277 possible exploiters on this aircraft, we can pretty safely assume that the guy carrying the pineapple Wi-Fi device is the one who did it.
Plot twist, they found a dozen.
Yeah. I mean, they probably did, but here's the deal. Delta Airlines on flight, what was it, DL-591, I think.
Yep. We had the ATC logs as they were happening.
before they landed, we knew what was going on.
Yeah, before it was in the news, in that same cyber group chat. Because as you can imagine, Hacker Summer Camp, or DEFCON, as many know it, was going on, and the group chat was filled with those people. I was not in attendance at DEFCON, but still, I was living vicariously through them. And someone was monitoring the ATC chats because that's what you do. And so they started dropping them in our cybersecurity channel. And I was reading them like, oh, this is great. So we're like, what flight is this? They're like, it's leaving Vegas. That's why we monitor. They monitored all flights leaving Vegas. And so the group chat kind of blew up with those. And we're like, this is amazing. And then it got in the news not long after.
Yeah. So here's what happened is DEFCON happened last week. When you go to DEFCON, it's in Vegas and then you fly home, right? Well, some attendees at DEFCON figured that they wanted to try a man-in-the-middle DEOth attack and set up their own Wi-Fi network on a plane as they traveled home to Atlanta, from Vegas to Atlanta. Obviously, this was not successful. Well, it kind of was successful, but they also very quickly got caught. Because the other piece of not legal advice, although it probably could be, is when you go to a hacker conference, you're not the only person there that has skills. And when you're going home, the same people that were there are also traveling home with you. And the thing about DEF CON is it's a really weird environment because you have everything from black hat to gray hat to white hat who are all there at the same time talking about the same exploits. And then they all get on the same planes and go home together.
Oh, man.
And so you don't know who's sitting next to you. It could be a fellow hacker. It could also be a federal agent. Like, both things are equally possible on those planes. So what happened is the hackers got onto a plane, Delta Flight 591 going to Atlanta. They decided, the plane had Wi-Fi on it. They decided about an hour into the flight to initiate a DEOth attack. So basically send out deauthentication packets to all of the connected devices to kick them off the Wi-Fi. And then set up a honeypot network called Delta Wi-Fi Fast off of a device that they owned that was serving as a man-in-the-middle device between itself and the actual Delta Wi-Fi. And so if you get kicked off, you go, oh, I'm not going to use that Wi-Fi point again. Oh, look, here's a Delta Wi-Fi Fast. I'll connect to that one. This is the ATC communication from pilot to tower. No info now. We have a bunch of PAX, or passengers, that were at a cyber conference in Las Vegas. They were able to jam our Wi-Fi and broadcast their signal. Hey alert corporate security, we have a PAX on the plane who has created a scam Wi-Fi called Delta Wi-Fi Fast. We believe they are trying to scam other passengers. End quote. We knew this on the ground before the plane landed.
Yep. And so did authorities.
This was unreal to watch unfold in real time.
Fun times. I'm actually glancing. I glanced over what they're talking about in the cybersecurity channel. The weather nerds are talking. One of them has become so good at being a weather nerd, he's been able to join the Meteorological Society Slack, apparently, so, which is a challenge. Yeah. They don't just let anyone in, well, unless you can really prove you're a true weather nerd. And so I learned this from when I was hanging out with a group of them a few weeks ago, and that was kind of his announcement. It's like, so I was finally able to get in, and like 3 other people said, I've been trying for years, and I'm like, there's a secret Slack of meteorologists and y'all been trying to get in? I'm just not a weather word here, but go on. So I'm interested. So now they're all posting about the weather stuff, which just makes you laugh because I scroll a little bit. I'm like, all I see is bright colors. Oh, they're sharing weather things.
Yeah. I should be more into weather than I am. Like I think I have a better understanding than probably most people, and it comes from where I live because The Willamette Valley in Oregon, which is where literally 85% of the population of Oregon and Washington live, is between the coastal range and the Cascades. There's this narrow corridor north to south where everyone lives. It also introduces some very bizarre weather phenomenon and weather activity, because you have the jet stream coming from the Pacific Ocean. You've got the coastal range, which creates high-low pressure zones. You've got the valley itself, which then creates a low pressure zone down in the valley, or high pressure zone down in the valley. And then you've got the Cascades, which it has to get over, which is then mounting to go over the Rockies. And there are so many different things that can happen within that. And what's really funny is if you talk to someone that's from here, they'll go, "Oh no, the weather says it's it's supposed to snow this weekend." And we go, "No, it won't." And you just know. And it's because we have this understanding of no, it's 33 degrees and only 40% humidity, which means it's fairly high pressure in the valley. It's keeping that moisture up on top of us. It's not going to drop anything. And sure enough, Saturday rolls around and it doesn't snow.
Yeah, there's an overlap because many of them are ham operators, and specifically they do the emergency.
Yeah.
I'm not a ham, so I can't remember exactly what it's called. The field days where they do the emergency testing, and then they're on call for when there's a weather emergency. So that's also what makes them into the weather nerdery. It's all the Venn diagram of ham operators and weather people is a circle. So there's a lot of them. There's a big crossover. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many hobbies that I want to try to get into.
It is a challenge. I try to limit myself. There's a handbook just out of reach right now.
Yeah.
Because I'm among the only of my circle of friends that doesn't have a ham license.
Yeah.
So it's like I should get one so I can go participate with them.
My dad, I know, has a ham license, and in fact, I know he's talked to the International Space Station a time or two.
Nice.
He's got a broadcast license. He's got things like that. That's pretty
Field
fun.
Day.
I have been more into lately. Again, I'm a child of the digital era. I kind of wanted to get into Meshcore a little bit more, like Meshtastic, Meshcore.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have a couple Meshtastic nodes.
Yeah, and so I've been looking at building a couple solar-powered nodes, a couple repeaters in my area. I have a friend of mine who lives about a mile away, and I kind of want to set up 2 nodes between the two of us, because we also live in a radio dead zone. So I live at the top of a mountain, but I live in the depression at the top of a mountain. And we have no line of sight to any antennas anywhere. No towers, no antennas, no nothing. And so I don't get TV broadcasts, and I'm frickin' 40 miles from Portland. It's a radio dead zone. And I kind of want to set up a couple of Meshcore nodes so we can join and hopefully broadcast outside. So get just enough coverage to get outside of this little depression that we have. And then we can join the greater network.
Hypothetically.
Yeah.
Throwing this out here. One could find on Amazon, they're roughly $100. These nodes are, we have a few of them.
Yeah.
But the hypothetical part goes, you could use a drone and you could set them on top of public infrastructure in a few places and build an entire repeater network between your friends. Just hypothetically. I mean, I don't think you're supposed to put things, not a lawyer, but I don't think you're supposed to put things on public infrastructure. But if you mount them to public infrastructure, like water towers, they look like they belong.
Yes,
and
exactly.
No one asks a lot of questions.
That was kind of my thought. Is we have
solar works great, by the way. They last a long time on solar.
Right.
They work great, no problems at all.
Yeah, you get 418-600 cells inside of there. That's going to last for freaking ever on a 2-watt device. We have a couple power line roads in my area where it's just 100 yards of clear cut with just the power line long distance transmission towers there. It's man, if I could just latch to one of, or the telephone pole at the entrance of one of those and just have a couple of those sending out. Look, no one's going to bat an eye at a little solar device with an antenna sticking out of the back of it.
Well, in 2026, some might, as long as I don't think there's a camera attached to it.
Right, as long as there's not a camera. But I didn't plan on putting a flock camera under mine, so.
Yeah.
But, you know, what's the likelihood that I could get a couple deployed in my area? And
I don't know. Americans Cogsworth here said mesh core.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking about mesh-tastic, because mesh core versus mesh-tastic. That's some nerd fighting words there.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
Because we're nerds, we gotta have at least 2 standards.
There's got to be at least 2. There's got to be 2 camps to join.
It's the minimum.
Are you Crips or Bloods? Pick a side.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the XKCD where we have 9 standards? So I came up with the one to rule them all. Now we have 10 standards.
Now we have Adam Patrick Murray joining the chat saying nerds. That's his favorite line.
Yes. Fair.
Hey, hold on. I gotta do this. So, I didn't give credit in the video, but Adam, since you happen to be on, I have a box that I received from you that was sealed and is no longer sealed. So I did say I got this box from a fellow YouTuber. But if you would like credit, let me know. If you want to shout out in the video, let me know. Because that video is happening. No one watches the podcast, so no one's going to put 2 and 2 together. But but I have a particular box that I built today. That has that particular board in it.
XKCD 927.
Yeah,
it's 14 into 15 standards. There we go.
Yes. And I can say I'm touching that system right now, and it's up and running, and it's. I don't have an OS on it yet, but it is posting. So there's that. No credit needed. Have fun. Cool. I will say Jacob was quite excited to see this box be opened. If you know, you know. So I did open a second beer a little while ago. So obviously I started with a cocktail tonight, and this one caught my eye in the store mainly because of the name. Not necessarily the can art, but the name. The art's decent, but the name is better. Matchless. And by the way, it has Jeff Goldblum on the cover, which is great. Ooh. Because that's one big pile of hops.
Nice.
Oh, snap! Adam says, hey, Jeff, guess what I'm using right now? Elecom Huge. My favorite trackball. Have I converted you yet? Are you finally ready to repent your King Kensington ways?
Trackpad is the way, not ball.
My pad isn't... It's over there. I have the trackpad, too.
I like the trackpad a lot.
Yeah.
I've thought about getting 2 of them just to replace the mouse. I have a mouse, but I just like doing everything with the trackpad now. Because I have 2 spots.
I mean that's cute and all, but...
Oh, got 2 of those.
I've got one with a red ball, too. I own 5 of these mice. Because they go on all of my desktops.
Isn't Veronica from Veronica Explains also a trackball person?
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
In fact, she has a shirt that says trackball person. And I have that shirt, and it's my favorite shirt. And in fact, I need to get a new one because I'm finally wearing that one out. So, Veronica, you're going to get a new order probably for a couple of those shirts here in the next week or so. What about Game Ball? Are they even still selling? I was not all that impressed with Game Ball. And the reason being is they used a fairly tiny ball, which has very little inertia to it. And so I found it really difficult to move a trackball that didn't have much weight to it, and be accurate with it. So big movements were just fine because you flick and then you stop and then you try to fine tune. But it's that fine tuning that I couldn't get a handle on with such a small and lightweight ball. I think the reason I love the Elecom Huge so much is because if you need to do a large movement, you flick it. You just flick the ball with, I use these two fingers right here. You flick it, and then you stop the inertia when the mouse gets close to where it needs to go. But then because it has some weight to it, you can fine tune it really, really precisely. You're not accidentally going to overshoot. Cosworth says, what CPU and what board specifically? Is that a question to me? Or no, that's the one KEA. Good evening, Jeff. I was able to successfully mod my Intel Z77 Mobo's UEFI BIOS to enable rebar and 36-bit MIMO, or MMIO. My M40 is working with NVIDIA 575-57 and CUDA 12.9. Now I'm working on inference. Cool. Did the M40 still have support in 575? That seems really late for Maxwell. But that's really cool if it does. That's really cool. Adam says, first impressions, not as good as the newest Kensington. I think you and I are going to have to meet up in person and we're going to have to duke this out. We're going to have to...
Are there still companies producing the trackballs, or you just buy used ones now?
Oh, no. This is a brand new unit.
Okay, that's not okay. I did not know they still sold them new.
Yeah, so I will say my two favorite companies for doing trackballs are Elecom and Kensington. Kensington's obviously the classic, although Logitech still creates a couple as well. Logitech mostly does the thumb-based trackballs, and I don't like those nearly as much.
Okay.
I prefer finger-based trackballs. Still actively being produced and developed. This one is RF, Bluetooth, and USB. It comes with a dongle inside for RF, or you could do Bluetooth connectivity, or you can do USB-C right on the front. It's an integrated battery. It's fully customizable, 9 different inputs, a 2-direction, 2-axis scroll wheel, 4-axis scroll. And it's absolutely fantastic. I love this mouse so much. Another show with Adam coming soon to Talking Heads. Well, it depends on if he agrees with me that the Elecom is the good one or not. Otherwise, we'll just meet up and I'll punch him in the face and break his Kensington.
Throw his ball at him.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I've tried the game ball a couple of times. Like I said, I was not a fan of that one. Elecom has a couple of different trackball models. They have the Deft, and they've got a small little thumb track. The Deft is okay. I actually have the Deft installed on my CNC workstation out in the garage. It's okay, but I don't like it nearly as well. And I think, again, it comes down to the weight of the ball. It's a smaller ball. There's not as much inertia in it. And it's a little bit harder to do fine movements with it.
Have you converted other family members to this?
No.
Or is it just a Jeff thing?
It's just a Jeff thing.
Okay.
And what's funny is I've just always been a trackball person. Like, obviously, growing up at home, we had, ball mice and things like that. Most of the laptops when I was growing up were all trackball because that's all there. It was either in trackball or the IntelliPoint, the Lenovo, the word you can't say, mouse. It was mostly those, but I think it was right around 2002, I want to say. I got a Logitech TrackMan trackball and loved it. And as someone who uses their hands a lot for all of my hobbies, whether it's computer or music or anything else, I have always been very deftly aware of taking care of my hands and carpal tunnel and RSI and all that kind of stuff. And finding a good mouse and a good position and sitting at your desk properly and using proper posture when you're typing and all of that, that is always top of mind to me, to prevent injury. So I found trackball was more akin to that than anything else. It kept my hand in the right position. I've already got all the fine motor skills from decades of guitar and clarinet and saxophone, so might as well put that to use, right?
The thing we have to do to our bodies, because our bodies were not meant to sit down in front of a computer and just type.
Yeah.
There's so many ergonomics and things that we have to do to allow us to do this in comfort. And some people obviously seem to be better suited towards it than others, but yeah, it's a lot. I think a lot about the same things, keeping things at the proper eye level, and like this monitor, only because it has to be, because now my fingers are at the top of it. Like, because of the camera, this monitor's down just a little bit. Yep.
Top of my monitor is literally right here.
Exactly. You can it's the same thing.
Yeah, no, this monitor is too low.
This is where my normal monitor is, and it's higher, so I'm not looking downward. I'm like,
my nose is equal with the top of this panel.
I must say mine is too. Yeah,
and it's to give the right angle of the camera without looking down at me and providing a weird angle on the camera. And so there is a sacrifice in ergonomics here. But if I use any other monitor, I like my eye level to be about a third from the top. It's easier to look down than it is to look up. Your eyes have about a 20-degree adjustment to them, so you can actually turn your eyes about 20 degrees in any direction. And I talked about ergonomics a little bit with like my giant 6K monitor over here, the Dell over here, where I sit at a distance where I only have to turn my head 20 degrees in either direction, and my eyes can do the other 20. And that's where monitors should exist. And same thing top to bottom. Up, I don't want to go up more than 10 degrees. Up is painful. Up is where like neck problems come from and whatnot. You can look down all you want, especially me being 6'4". I'm used to looking down at most things. So yeah, putting your eyes about a third of the way down the screen. So very little travel is needed to go up. You can tilt your head slightly down if you need to go down, and then minimal motion side to side.
I see someone says, the next round of Broadcom renewals is approaching shortly. Any uptick in VMware refugees? There's always an uptick. It's staggered when people got their license renewals. Yep. So there's a pretty constant one. Reddit's weird. Reddit, they either mention Proxmox, but more so than Proxmox, if you're in some of the business subreddits, Hyper-V, man, Hyper-V's where it's at. And someone pointed out the other day, because there's probably about 30 people commenting about Hyper-V was the way to go. And it was like, people are putting a lot of faith in Microsoft not screwing this up. And I'm like, I think they intend to screw it up. Like, they're like, Hyper-V until we can kick you out of that into the cloud. Like, I do not understand the love for Hyper-V. It's not great. It's a functional solution, but it's not what I would choose.
We were primarily a Hyper-V deployment shop when I worked at my job. And that wasn't necessarily because Hyper-V was the best decision. Hyper-V was an active choice because we took over a lot of different clients that we took over for other firms. Sometimes we would do contract work, just like, hey, get us up and running with the latest software, and then kick us free. So we would often deploy Hyper-V because most IT people drive Windows for a day, for their daily life, which means anyone coming into an environment that we're running will understand Windows as a backbone. We ran a lot of Linux services inside of Hyper-V. We would virtualize a bunch of Linux stuff, but the underlying OS was Windows Server and Hyper-V, because it is so much easier to understand from a layman's perspective than anything else. We eventually started migrating that off. We did eventually start migrating over to Proxmox and such, but most of our clients used Windows throughout their organizations, and so they needed a lot of Windows-based services. They needed Active Directory with ADDNS integration. They needed DHCP awareness. They needed
But did you tie the hypervisor to the AD domain?
No. The host was not.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that do that and create some problems.
That is such a
terrible idea.
Terrible idea.
Yeah. I don't know why they do it. I just know I've got the call from the disasters.
I've received that call a couple of times. Hey, our server crashed and it rebooted, and I'm here at the login screen and it's not letting us log in. Well, it's because you're trying to log in with a domain administrator account, which is only cached for 90 days. And so if you were logged into that service, or if you were logged in as that user on the desktop, and then Hyper-V was running underneath that, and Hyper-V was running your Active Directory server, then your password cache has timed out, and it needs to re-authenticate with Active Directory before it will let you into the desktop. But the problem is, you need to get onto the desktop so you can start the Active Directory server so you can authenticate with it.
Yep. Circular logic works because circular logic works.
Yep. And around we go. Yes.
Pain. Pain.
My solution is to run multiple domain controllers. That works to a point.
I just don't think I don't. This has been an argument because I have a friend who's very into, he helped write some of the controls for CIS and things like that. So he's been involved in that. But there's a point where I think all the users that we manage should all be on SSO, tied together, central authority, part of, I forget what part of the controls that is, but fair point in it. My argument is the management control planes should be separate and independent, each with own unique passwords. And it breaks the central management philosophy, but it's also what creates the silos so there's no lateral movement across your management control planes from a security standpoint. So if you pop the AD server, and if they were all on the same AD, because Microsoft's actual, if I'm not mistaken, someone correct me on this, Microsoft's answers, they have two completely separate AD for us. One that manages all your Hyper-V stuff and a separate one that manages all your other side of the company. But if you have a series of Hyper-V servers and they're all tied together like that, you end up with some weird potential problems of, well, we authenticated this and then we tied our NAS authentication to it. So when they popped one thing, they laterally walk across all the other things. I think for infrastructure management, I don't like my switching fabric or any of that tied to AD from a control standpoint. From a user standpoint, if you want to go all the way to have AD related rules to how a user's firewall set up, that's fine. Chase them around with policies that apply to their user because that makes sense, but not to the admin staff.
Right.
That is a separate of really segmented silos. And there's a lot of people that don't always agree with that approach, but I think it's a better approach.
It's 100% a better approach. That's how we deployed our hypervisor servers were never domain joined. They use separate credentials from domain services, from ADDS. We did have some manager accounts that had domain level privilege within the Active Directory and even hypervisor environment, but they were not directly responsible or answering to Active Directory. We had most of our techs, so think like field technicians and level 1, level 2, they still had AD logins on their desktops. They still, had AD credentials for all that kind of thing. Our level 3 techs were also not AD joined because At level 3, you're also probably a systems administrator. You need to be able to operate outside the bounds of what AD is controlling. And if there is ever an AD problem, you need to be able to get into your workstation to fix the problem.
Yeah.
And so there were a couple of people, myself, my head networking guy, and I think one other, who did not have Active Directory permissions applied to our local desktops, local permissions, everything like that. If we needed to access the file server, we had a Windows VM that we would fire up, that we would log in with our Active Directory credentials, that we would access with that. But our main desktops that we worked on were not part of Active Directory. We needed to operate outside of it.
Gotta have ways, gotta have those break glass accounts and all that stuff.
Yeah. It's really, really important when things go bad. Look, when it works, it probably works great. But when it breaks, you need to be able to access bare metal. And if you can't access bare metal, your techs are worthless.
Yep. I see another super chat that came in.
Yes, Zeus chimes in with $10. Thank you so much. Just spent 10 minutes replying to a Proxmox versus XCP-NG thread. Basically just said, for more than 3 nodes in a Homelab, go XCP-NG. XCP-NG is cattle. Proxmox is a pet. OpenShift is there.
I think what happens is people have the urge to turn Proxmox into a pet because they customize it so much.
Yeah.
And because of the guardrails, I get why a lot of people in Homelab don't like XCP-NG. There's like, oh, there's guardrails. It won't let me apt-get install a Samba server because apparently I need file sharing. I want to run file sharing and all kinds of other things.
Dumbest idea ever.
Hypervisor.
Spin up a VM and do it that way.
Right. But they create pets out of it. So I like it for the tinkering. I love playing around and tinkering with stuff. But when I have to support in one of my larger clients I do consulting with, I want to say they're in the 3,000 or 4,000 VMs they have, maybe a little more than that. Mm-hmm. But they very much, all their hosts are completely cattle. And it's all XCP-NG. That's one of the things they like about it is they migrated off of VMware for it. And they're like, this is just easier. We just take nodes in and out as we need to.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the one thing I will say about Proxmox is Proxmox has all the right tools, all the right deployments, all the right language, all the right models, everything else. It doesn't scale as well as some other enterprise tools, specifically XCP-NG or VMware.
The weirdest learning curve for me on Proxmox was when you eject a node out of a cluster that you have to reload it before you can bring it back in. That's kind of strange.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just eject a node and bring it back in. XCP-NG, when you eject a node, it just wipes it clean and makes it brand new, which you can do what you want with it, or you can eject it, fix the piece of hardware that you want because you didn't want it in there, and then bring it right back in without a thought. That
is primarily because Proxmox uses Ceph as the sync tool.
Well, the sync tool is CoroSync.
Yeah.
And Proxmox is a series of nodes that are technically independent using CoroSync to make them appear not to be independent.
Yes.
They don't have the same concept of master that you have in XCP-NG where it's a database.
Right.
And everyone has a copy of the database, but all commands go through master and it propagates out. That architecture change is what allows XCP-NG to work the way it does. Mm-hmm. So it's not that you can't get good performance, but also when you get nodes out of sync in Proxmox, that's a real weird issue. In Proxmox, like their own support forums, me and Wendell had a long discussion about this because he put some effort into like figuring out how to get them to sync. And he had some forum discussions. Like, we're not a sync, and I've talked to other people about the same problem. Shutting them all down, bringing them up one by one, gets them all back in sync. That's their own instructions from Proxmox.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. But if you try to fix it, it only seems to get worse. It's kind of a weird quirk. They rarely get out of sync provided you architect things properly.
Right.
But I don't get calls about things architected properly. I get calls from other people.
I get calls when things break. Yeah.
Yeah. Usually, though, it's people who installed Ceph that shouldn't have installed Ceph. That's where I get the calls. I built that on a bunch of consumer drives. What's queue depth? What's IOPS? These are problems that the AI LLM is telling me is wrong with this. What do you mean I bought it wrong?
Zeus sends over another $5, says, my Honda Civic isn't reliable at all. After I did a wheel camber, engine swap, cat delete. Wait, sorry, I meant Proxmox.
Yeah.
That's the thing is, I run Proxmox bare stock. Yes, it's just Linux. Yes, you can do everything you want. Please don't. For the love of God. Just, if you need to run a service, spin up a service.
Yeah.
In a VM or a container. Those are allocated and those are proper and those are within the infrastructure that it can actually manage. Don't install it as root to the host. What the hell are you thinking? Don't do that. In the giant red book of IT, that's like rule number 1 is use the processes and services the way they're designed to be ran.
Ah, craziness.
Jay says, Zeus, I told you installing a turbo into that server was a bad idea.
All servers need a turbo.
It's really hot air coming out of that.
Well, my drink is out. I think our time's running up. I have a early morning flight I gotta get to. Heading to a hacking conference, the legendary Hope conference, Hackers on Planet Earth.
Ooh.
That's where I'll be the next couple days.
Nice.
All started from the 2600 magazine. It's only a year or two younger than DEFCON, so they started around the same era, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I know there's DEFCON, there's Hope, and then there's also DerbyCon. They were all founded right around the same time.
And DerbyCon has not survived. That one's gone.
Oh, is that gone now? Okay.
Yeah, DerbyCon's gone. Yeah, at least one that's gone. There's not a lot of old. I don't know exactly how GerCon is coming up. That's one in Michigan. That one's also been around for a lot of years. Yeah. So there's a handful of them that have been around for a minute. These older conferences. The cool thing is the Hope Conference, the lore and legendary of the 2600. I got to take it. First time I went was last year. I was really excited, so signed right up to go this year again. You know, the legend and lore that is 2600, meeting Emmanuel Goldstein, the 2600 van. They still have the same van from the 80s.
Nice.
You know, the Bell logo on it, the Bell van.
Yeah.
the telephone van. They park it in front of the hotel, so you know it's them. What is GerCon? Look it up. It's a event here in Michigan. GRRCON. You got the spelling right. Easy to find. I was selected as a speaker for GerCon, so we'll be talking about the swords we give our AI. I believe that's the exact title. So it's a series of things me and my friend Matt are giving a talk on.
Jay sends over one final super chat for $2. Thank you very much, Jay. God made LXC for a reason. Chapter the 99th. Yes. Stop running things as root on your hypervisor. It's not supposed to do that. Your hypervisor is supposed to run hypervisors. Let it do that. If you need to run a service, run an LXC, run a container, don't install Docker on the root of your Proxmox server either. Frickin' spin up a VM. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yep.
Gosh, where was the... David says, hey, Tom, you know what would be really funny on an airplane?
Yes. You got to do it on the way back from the hacker conference because that's what makes it funnier. So, yeah, want to make sure you get there. Yeah. I seen someone said they were interested in going to DEF CON. I actually would recommend DEF CON. I've been, but I've never been to Vegas. So I went to DEF CON Safe Mode, which was held. Car Hacker Village was here in Detroit, which is really cool. So I've never been to the big one in Vegas. To me, it's overwhelming, and there's a reason I don't go. One, because Vegas would be the 10th level of hell if Dante's book was written later. And two, the other reason there's 27,000 people there or so. I believe was the number of attendance. If you go to smaller conferences, GerCon included, there's several other ones out there. It is probably a better experience you have because it's more personal. Wild West Hacking Fest, also a pretty awesome one that is in Deadwood, North Dakota. That one I've been to. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. If you can find a B-Sides event, that's a good starting point. Look up B-Sides in your area. I've been to Hack the Bay in San Francisco. That was really cool. B-Sides on your side of the world. That happens coinciding with RSA. So the B-Sides is held at a bar. There's about 200 people there. And the speakers, though, first speaker, Mandiant. Like, guys really got it. I mean, there was some top tier talent on stage at this bar with like less than 200 people in the entire building and entire venue. And after they were talking, you got to sit down with these people and talk about new and novel hacking techniques and just all the fun stuff going on. So there's the smaller conferences, you're overwhelmed with the big ones. Not that you can't have a good time. I'm just someone who sees 25,000 plus people and go, I don't know. I got to find and carve out my tribe versus when you go somewhere, especially if you go to Wild West Hacking Fest in Deadwood. I think it's about 1,000 person, 800 people in the conference. Yeah. But Deadwood is a captive audience. Do you know what else is in Deadwood? Not a thing.
Nothing. Yeah.
So everyone has nothing else to do but talk about the hacking conference or be involved in it. They're doing this at the Hope Conference, which is about 700, 600 people, 600 or 700 last year. Besides the hacking conference itself, they have the Hacker Talent Show. So there's shenanigans and fun that are happening throughout. They do Hacker Jeopardy at DEFCON, so there's those type of things as well there. So I don't know. I enjoy those. They're just a lot of fun.
And Cosworth got one more in before the buzzer. $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Cos. Blowing up your Discord with all the things meshcore. I have been looking into it lately. I will probably end up either building and or buying something to put here. I know building isn't that big of a deal, but
no. The kits on Amazon with the solar are good,
and that's kind of what I'm looking at.
And they're not. I mean, you're talking in the $100 range. They're not breaking the bank. And then you just flash some software on it, which is really easy to do.
Yeah. I've seen the one from Seed Studio. I've seen a couple others that are like, flash the firmware, pick your frequency, and go for it. I'm looking for a cookie cutter solution. I'm not gonna get fancy with it. I just want something that lets me join the network, lets it work. Like I said, my area in particular right here, if you pull up a coverage map, there's a hole in the radio frequencies, and it's just because we have no line of sight to any towers of any kind.
Now you can close that gap.
And now I can close that gap, at least when it comes to MeshCore. And so I think that's going to be a project here in the next couple of months. I do want to be able to get on that network. So anyway, Tom, anything before we close?
No, I'm good. I'm got the hacking event. I can't think of anything else. I did the MikroTik video. If people want to go argue about MikroTik, of why they love it or why they hate it, because that seems to be the comments. It's a polarizing topic. For the router OS is polarizing. People fall in love with it, or they tell me this is complicated. My time is worth more money. One of those two answers is the answer to MikroTik.
Yeah. The Truly Insane says $100 doesn't break the bank. We're not all YouTubers. We're Homelab YouTubers, though.
Yeah, I think $100 is, but you do not. That's for an entire solar setup,
right?
You can get into
for like $6.
Meshtastics, you're talking in the $20 range. So
yeah.
I have one of them sitting over here, the little one. I keep one here, and it relays to the one upstairs. That way, I always have a friend to talk to, which is myself. So I know they work.
Yep. Project coming up. I'd love to do a little solar panel and a self-sufficient system where I don't have to run a cable. I think that's the most intriguing thing to me is like, could I spend $100 on a solar panel rather than spending an hour of my day traipsing through my attic in 95-degree weather? Like,
yes,
that's worth $100 to me.
Yeah, and the only challenge is making sure you get the ones, and I believe the new models do this, you can do over-the-air updates, because part of the problem is when we first got it, and I can't remember which model my friend has or which one he switched to now, but we had to go and get it back down when we wanted to do firmware updates. That wasn't fun.
Yeah.
So It was had a little outdated firmware for a minute.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to mount mine fairly high up again because we're in kind of this dead zone area. I want it as high as possible.
We put his. It's 40 feet up.
Yeah,
it's on a tower. It's on a tower that we extended, which was an old TV tower. So
yeah, I'm looking at probably 25 to 30. Is about where I'm going to place mine. So yeah, it's going to be up there a ways.
Awesome.
Hey, Dakota's watching. Thank you, Bearded IT Dad. Met up with him last week, and yeah, let's grab a beer here in the near future. Adam Patrick Murray's playing a Wonder Swan color right now. I'm assuming for a handheld diaries video, or you're just having fun. Either way, that sounds amazing. I've never played on a Wonder Swan. That could be fun. Anyway, this has been episode 445 of Talking Heads. Join us every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time for the latest in beer and tech news right here on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Hit that like button. And most of all, if you like content like this and want to help support the channel and help keep the lights on, consider joining the Patreon. Patreon.com/craftcomputing. And as a bonus, you'll get access to the Discord server. You can join the community that hangs out there throughout the week and talk directly with myself and all the other hosts from Talking Heads. Thank you all so much for watching. And as always, we'll see you next week.
Later.
Cheers, everyone.